Elijah, and you guys probably know Aiden by now. And we're here to do top 5 Bay Area thrash albums because we're from the Bay Area and we of course love thrash metal. And this is number 5. This is
Defiance, Product of Society.
This album is absolutely fantastic. Great band. I think they're from Oakland area. I think maybe Sacramento. I don't really know actually.
One of those East Bay cities.
Yeah, East. I think they're mostly East Bay, and very great album. Technical, very technical. The instrumental Tribulation is very technical. Different riffage, very different timing, and I think this is absolutely a great album. Outstanding tracks being Defaults. Product Society. One of my favorites is Insomnia. It's kind of slow, but it's really good. And Aftermath Tribulation, the acoustic instrumental pair. But the best track, in my personal opinion, is Hypothermia. With that breakdown in the middle, just like makes you want to thrash around.
And this came at the tail end of the Bay Area thrash metal scene. This came out 1989, so you get a lot of all the accumulation of all the thrash parts coming from 83 to then. It's all in this album.
I recommend buying this, and this is the original vinyl, which is pretty nifty if I do say so myself. Alright. Coming in at number 4 is an album we don't actually have in our possession at the moment, and that is Sacrilege BC, Party with God.
Insert image here.
I'd say Sacrilege BC is not forgettable. I'd say they're very underrated. I think they should have been a lot bigger than they were. They should have been up there with, Defiance, and not Defiance, more like Violence and Exodus, because one of the amazing bands. Actually, I met the singer at this local horror thing. He was selling some movies and stuff. He was a cool guy. His name was Stefan, something like that. But best track on the album, probably Fun with Napalm. Brutal storytelling with brutal riffing going on. Just a great song. And
one of the albums perfect all the way through.
Yeah, one of those albums you can just put on and never have to change a song.
Came out in 1986.
Which is probably the greatest year of metal. Not just metal, but just music in general. So many great albums came out that year. And other tracks as Cancer, great riffs. And
Skinned Alive.
Great bass in that song. Actually, great bass in the whole album, pretty much.
Yeah. And the riffage on this is amazing. You try to write like Sacrilege, you can't write like Sacrilege.
It's just too hard.
The riffage is amazing. Check that out. That is Party with God by Sacrilege BC.
Recommend it, and make sure to get it so when you review Bay Area thrash, you actually have a physical thing instead of an image. Now you know. Coming in at number 3 is sadly not the original cover, but still a great album, Bonded by Blood.
By Exodus, by the way.
Best track on this album for me is probably And Then There Was None.
And Then There Were None. Strike of the Beast, title track.
A Lesson in Violence, which in my opinion is probably Exodus's best solo. Also, Gary Holt's guitar work on this album is just unbelievable.
And it was done on a Stratocaster.
On a Squier Stratocaster.
A Squier Stratocaster.
Which is... you have one.
Did you just assume my Fender? And
that was a horrible joke. Alright.
And Paul Bailoff is on it, so...
Rest in peace.
RIP.
Oh, we almost forgot. Piranha. Piranha is actually probably my personal favorite track.
And then Paul Bailoff went off to form a band called Piranha.
Yeah, that's why he said Paul Bailoff, and I was like, Piranha. Alright.
So number 3, Bonded by Blood.
Alright. Number 2. Violence, Eternal Nightmare. This is actually probably one of my top 3 favorite albums, to be quite frank. I mean, this album is perfect all the way through.
Another perfect album.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing, and got them on the back. Sick picture. Hopefully, Sean Killian, we hope you're doing well, and we will be attending your show
in January.
Yeah, it's gonna be a sick show.
And you in the Bay Area, check it out.
Yeah, and what do you think are some of the best tracks on this album?
Title track. Serial Killer. Kill
Bodies
on
on
Command.
Bodies on Bodies, the epic song about moshing,
It's another perfect album all the way through. This came out 88.
which is same year as Forbidden Evil.
Forbidden
which
Evil.
Which is an honorable mention on his list.
By
Forbidden's
the way.
awesome. But people talk a lot about how about Sean Killing's vocals and that, you know, it's not like thrashy, and I disagree a lot. I think his vocals, he's personally my favorite thrash singer.
He sounds like an escaped lunatic, which works perfectly for violence.
Yeah, I mean, as a band called Violence, it's not supposed to be like normal. And also, his lyrics is like an escaped lunatic. He writes some fucked up lyrics. All right, number 2.
That is number 2.
And coming in at number 1, it's been our background in this whole video, and it's probably...
Y'all got pranked. It's Kill 'Em All.
Oh man, this album to me is actually probably my favorite album of all time. I mean, just every song on it is just breathtakingly awesome, amazing.
Breathtakingly brutal. The flow of this album, where they set up the set list, is just...
It's magical, honestly.
magical.
And of course, Clifford Lee Burton playing bass on the album. I mean, that's a beautiful. I wish it should have been Lars. It should have been Lars.
Should have been Lars, yep.
Cliff, and of course they knew he was an amazing bassist because they let him play a whole solo on it, just bass and drums, which is amazing. And
Now, Cliff was not writing on this album yet, but...
Kirk wasn't either.
That is true. Dave Mustaine, Dave wrote them all. Wrote them all.
He wrote them all.
Wrote them all. This came out 83, year 0 for thrash, along with Show No Mercy, of course, but that's not Bay Area, so...
We couldn't put it on the list. And I personally, my favorite track is The Four Horsemen.
Motor Breath, underrated song.
Whiplash is, of course, great.
Whiplash.
Actually,
Metal Militia.
probably the most underrated track is Phantom Lord. I think that song is absolutely glorious. And honestly, if you do not own this album,
You're high.
you're not metal. Like, if you don't own this album right here, Metallica Kill 'Em All, what are you doing with your life? Seriously. You should go hang yourself.
Kill yourself.
You should go hang yourself right now.
Now
Alright.
for the honorable mentions.
Honorable mention, including...
2. Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
Number 1, Forbidden Evil. Very technical album, very good. You can tell they're kind of different from everyone. Russ Anderson, the singer, was more influenced by Rob Halford of Judas Priest than, say, Ozzy or even like Mark Gallagher from Raven.
I'd say Russ Anderson is my favorite thrash vocalist, and a little bit did you know, Forbidden's original name was Forbidden Evil.
Yeah, and they had Rob Flynn, who was later in Machine Head and Violence. Best track for me is probably Through Eyes of Glass.
Chalice of Blood.
Through Eyes of Glass.
Chalice of Blood. Alright.
Chalice of Blood. All right.
Wait.
Next is Dear Eye. Dealing with it. Well, first of all, this isn't a thrash album. This is a punk album. Second of all,
Crossover-ish.
They're from. This is a punk album.
They're getting crossover. They're almost there. Anyway, they're originally from Texas, but they moved
To the Bay Area, and this album I think is the greatest punk album of all time. For me, it's I don't know. It's like it's really good. I'd rather be sleeping. Nursing Home Blues. Yes, Ma'am. Marriage. Soup Kitchen. Madman.
There's
Snap.
like 30 songs on the album.
37.
37.
The Explorer. I mean,
And they're all 30 seconds long.
this is a great album. Yeah, if you're a punk fan, crossover, whatever, pick it up. You will not regret it. It's like 30 minutes and it has 37 songs on it. I mean, what do you have to lose? Seriously. All right.
30 minutes of your miserable life. I'm sorry.
End it. All right. Don't actually end your life, please. We like you a little too much.
Love you. Alright, next one, Possess 7 Churches.
Possessed 7 churches, like you just said. We'll see. We don't know if this is death metal or not. I mean, yeah, they're probably trying to get thrash. They're called thrash, but really, it's it's death metal. We all know it's death metal. It's like we call it the first death metal band, but they're from the Bay Area. They were in the thrash scene. They were touring with Exodus and Slayer and stuff. Best track for me is Pentagram. I think that song rules.
And
Holy Hell and Twisted Minds, The Exorcists, and I think this album, for me, I think I love Jeff Becerra's vocals. He's very, you did a whole thing on this album.
I did that whole review.
Check that video out. Also, like, subscribe. We need subscribers.
We need you. Anyway, next one is The Legacy.
Probably
by Legacy, later known as Testament.
Actually, for me, this probably would have been on my top 5. I think this is Testament's best album, perfect album.
Testament in their greatest form.
Yeah, Chuck Billy's vocals on this album are amazing. Chuck, you are the man. And
Zetro wrote like half the lyrics, so
yeah.
Man too much.
Actually, for me, the song "Alone in the Dark" probably best lyric wise. Change the song. Yeah, it has. I think the lyrics for "Alone in the Dark" are amazing. You know, and that's Steve Zetro wrote that shit. Sorcerers can come to mind, leaving death and hatred to unmask. The master of this game is one, let his final sin to be known, only knows to stand in his path. Alone in the dark, where the demons are torturing me. The dark passages of revenge is all that I see. Dun 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 dun. Armies of witches called in from the north, murders of elders occur. The high priest of evil has lowered his iron fist, thousands of people will die. Alright.
And so on.
You can see we like that song a lot.
And Over the Wall and Apocalyptic City, some great tracks on this one.
Burn
This came out
Offerings,
87.
Raging Waters. Alright. And
some great stuff, my boy.
Well, that's about it for this episode. It's been a lot of goofing, a lot of mess ups. We probably did like 2 takes of every one of the things.
I'm sad to see you go, end your life, or subscribe either way.
And this has been a fun episode. The Bay Area, in my opinion, best thrash. Still to this day, bands like Tressalence, Schizo, keeping the torch for Bay Area thrash, and
X Method, R4ID, Dirty Rice,
Infex. His dad's an Infex.
Ha! Later, broskies.
And remember, keep it metal. That was retarded.